And hey, everyone, I think we will have a forum, so we're gonna get started, okay? I know you guys see each other. But we can always stay afterwards and network. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. This is the City of Laredo Suicide Prevention Committee. Today is Wednesday, March the 25th, and it is 5:30. I am Dr. Judy Basan, the chair of this committee. I would like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And if you can join me, stand so that we can do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you could just remain standing so that we can do a small reflection. Heavenly Father, everlasting God, thank you, Lord, for bringing us together as your family. Thank you for everything you do each day for us, for our family, our community, and our world. We invite you, Lord, to give us peace, strength, and wisdom to always do the right thing. In your name I pray, Jesus Christ, amen. Amen. We can do a roll call.
Dr. Julie Basan, present. Maxine Reyes, Ibero Ortiz, present. Miguel Rangel,
Present.
Armando Duarte,
Present.
Earl Medina,
Present.
Gabriel Martinez,
Present.
Sergio Moreno, Marina Medina. Present.
And we do have a forum. Thank you so much, Angie. And I just want to take a moment to publicly acknowledge Angie for all her support of the committee and keeping us all on the right track, Angie. I know it's not easy managing all of us. Thank you so much. The next one is the approval of the minutes. And we do have January 28th, 2026, and February 25th, 2026. And they are attached for the committee members in the package. While we're looking at these two sets of minutes, just a reminder for everyone here, it's so great to see you to join us this evening. And just a reminder that when we do call a vote, the committee members assigned by the different council members and the mayor are the only ones that can make a motion and participate in the vote. Of course, you can always ask a question when we're in the discussion phase or bring up an idea, but as far as the vote goes, it's only for the committee members. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to look at this. And I do want to acknowledge Earl for doing the February minutes. Thank you, Earl, and Maria Garcia, the January minutes. Okay, for the January minutes, do I have a motion to adopt the minutes as presented?
Motion.
Mr. Gabriel Martinez moves that we, approve the minutes as presented. Do I have a second to that? Seconds? Any questions or comments? So I have a motion to approve, seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now we go to the February minutes. And if someone would like to make a motion that we approve the minutes,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Marina? Is there a second?
A second.
Gabriel? Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you so much. The next item on the agenda is a public comments. Do we have any public comments, Angie?
No.
Thank you so much. We are gonna move to communications. And I know that we have some guests, with us, so I just wanna take a moment to welcome Ms. Vanessa Martinez from Laurel Bridge and her staff member, her team member. Welcome to our committee. Vanessa?
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Vanessa Martinez. I'm with Laurel Ridge Treatment Center. So I'm assigned to the Laredo area, and I have with me my assistant director, Ms. Dora Bajon, and she's here to talk about a little bit of information on our program for our first responders.
As Ms. Martinez mentioned, I am Dora, the Assistant Director for Laurel. I've been with Laurel about 10 years, so I'm familiar with Border Region, Camino. I used to take care of, when I first started with Laurel, I used to take care of the southeast of Texas, Blue Bonnet, Coastal Plains, and Gulf Bend. Then I transitioned to now I specifically take care of our active duty service members, JBSA, their family members nationwide, our residential program for kids 11 through 17, and then also our first responders program. So Ms. Martinez went ahead and put the folder. It's called Mission Resiliency. So Laurel Ridge has 2 units or 2 buildings. The main campus, which is in an 18-acre lot, and that's where we house our civilian, children, and certain population of veterans. And then across, it's called Mission Resiliency. That's where we have for our active duty, our certain population of veterans, and our first responders. Our active duty houses 82 beds. So for our first responders, I started getting calls from people in SAPD, the fire department, their county, surrounding areas, needing and requesting services for our first responders. They're very familiar with what we have done for our active duty, and so they wanted us to provide something similar to what we do for our active duty. So went with our CEO, the program director that was part of Mission Resiliency, been existing about 15 years. And our clinical director, Angie Chavez, which is the heart and the brain of our program for active duty. And so we went ahead and did a program for inpatient and outpatient. In the folder it has my business card and the 2-page collateral for our first responders. There's a little bit of the rundown of what we do. So for inpatient, it'll start off with prolonged exposure. Does not mean that that's what their treatment's going to be. When they come for the assessment, if there's childhood trauma, sexual trauma, any other form of trauma they've experienced, we will include that into the prolonged exposure. What we have seen for our first responders, starting to, the stigma is not as it used to be, but there's still stigma. So there's a lot of, having them understand that we have confidentiality. They don't want to tell. We're bound by HIPAA. So we will grant the privacy. And I will always ask with the agency, how do you work your process when you have a first responder in need of behavioral health? I want to be able to work with the agency to make sure that I align to what the process that agency has. And so it's a 2-week program, prolonged exposure with whatever else is identified with their assessment. If they need to sit down and they have family members and realistic in the surrounding areas, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for us to do our outpatient. We all have an outpatient for our first responders that the prolonged exposure will follow them with the PHP, which is a full day, 4-week program, and it'll continue with what they started inpatient to the outpatient. And if we identify that still that's not enough, then we'll step them down to the IOP. That's 3 days a week, from 8 to 12. That's more realistic for people closer to San Antonio or are active duty or veterans. If a first responder is a veteran, it's easy for me to get them housed at the Fisher House at Lackland Air Force Base. But that's only for veterans, family members, and our active duty that come from nationwide, because we get them globally, overseas, you name it. So that's what we do for our first responders. The process is very different than what we do for the civilian population. So I'll give you an example. SAPD, they have a mental health unit. They want one point of contact. They don't want to call the main hospital. This is a crisis. They want to make sure that that first responders gets the proper care. They'll call me. I'm the point of contact. They'll tell me I have officer so-and-so. When they need to send them to get an assessment, we will never put a first responder to get their assessment with the civilian population. That's putting them at risk. So I will get somebody from our admissions team across the main campus and tell them, okay, let me know your ETA, let me know when you're there. That way I ensure that somebody from admissions meets them. They meet them there, they walk them in, and then they do the assessment. If they meet criteria for inpatient, but they're not in a crisis, and they choose not to, they want to do the outpatient, we will grant that. Unless they're in a crisis and they have to do, it has happened that they have to be on an ED, a few, those are quite a few. It's the first responder's choice. So from there, whatever the assessment in the officer or sheriff or fire decides the treatment that they want, and of course the assessor will talk to them the importance, they'll start that treatment. If the agency like SAPD has to go through a committee to see if they can put them under administrative leave, their job is going and getting the treatment, mission ready to get them back into the field. If not, some of them have done their own, they have so much PTO, so it's case by case. So that's why I always ask, what process have you guys have? Do you have a process? If you do, I would like to know that way I can assist you through the process. But point of contact this week, I'll ask the officer or deputy or firefighter to sign a release of information to provide some kind of update. Even if it's they're doing well or they miss a day. If an officer active duty or veterans in that program, outpatient misses a day, immediately we do a safety. So they'll call the individual and make sure that they are good. If they are well, then they contact the sergeant, whoever the peer support is, and say, you know, so-and-so missed your day, but they're not feeling well, or they had a doctor's appointment. So the communication is constant, because their job is to get mission ready to get back into the field. So there's a lengthy process for that, but it is really, it's a good program. We put in with our active duty and veterans because there's a lot of similarities that they experience, and they will never be with the civilian population. There's so many, they can't relate and risk factors, and we're not gonna do either or.
And you know, one of the things that I want to say is that I really appreciate you being here, and also that your institution is so welcoming and so inviting for when there's a need, that we have to take them into San Antonio or other places. I know that Border Region does a good job, but whenever we have an emergency, and we will hear more about it. So I want all of you that are here tonight to take some time to meet her and get some additional information, because we'll probably be getting a lot of calls from this area, so.
That's fine, I'm here. I don't have an H5 job, I always serve the population I serve. And I also take care of BAMC, the ER. I cannot tell you guys, I'm only H5. Make sure your crisis is an H5. I'm actually 24/7. I get calls from Japan, Italy, the UK. So whenever my phone rings, I need to be accessible.
Thank you.
So I am available for y'all at y'all's time, not my convenience, but I'm here for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Dr. Wasanji made Dora had a good point, because that's, and I know Randy will agree with this. This is more like a battle buddy system. You know, those that are in suicide prevention, when veterans fall into a distressful situation or crisis, they rather talk to a battle buddy. Okay, so, and get help.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing that up. I want to go ahead and move into communications. Suicide Prevention Committee membership. And I did, promise Earl that I would go ahead and put this item here for discussion. Earl, you wanted to bring up an item about secretary position?
So, as, everyone knows, every committee has a chairperson, a co-chair, and they, whoever of the committee members want to be appointed as secretary. The secretary, the responsibility is to ensure that they're passing along all the information that is gathered, as well as, gathering the minutes and presenting them into the coalition meeting, at a time. Those minutes are submitted to myself and Dr. Lasan, and then it gets sent off to, Angie at, before, the week, before the next meeting. So, any of the chair, council members that are sitting and representing a council member if you guys are interested, you're more than welcome to, submit your request.
So I'll give you some time to think about it. And it's really important, and thank you, Earl, for bringing it up, because I think this requires a team effort. And so we're all on the same page, and we're here to support one another and to keep each other on track as far as our, excuse me, requirements. So we'll table that for the next meeting. The next item I want to talk about under membership is the attendance requirements for all committee members. When we were appointed and we took an oath to be here and to represent your council member, the mayor, for me, and to fulfill your mission and obligation. I want just to remind all of us that it's very important for us to do that. And I know that work gets in the way. That's, I've had situations like that, but please contact me. Send me a text because I need to document it. Remember, every 6 months, I have to turn in a report. And unless I hear from you, it's gonna be an unexcused absence. Is that okay with everyone?
That's good. Yes.
Thank you so much. And again, it's just a reminder, that we comply. The next item on the agenda, we have the City of Laredo Police Report. Sergeant, welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, Sergeant, for the record, Sergeant Heriberto Avalos, Supervisor for the Laredo Police Department Mental Evaluation Outreach Unit. For this month, for 2026, we have a total of 5 suicides resulting in death. Can you move to the next slide? We had 2 earlier this month, and I will touch on them as the time goes by. These are the attempted suicides and suicide calls that we got this month so far. And these all date back, will date back from February 26th, because that's when I think the last time we met, 2025, and then, we met on February 25th of 2026, and then, so I'm gonna include the last 2 days of February all the way up to today, which is March 25th. And in total, it was 13 attempted suicides and 2 suicides that we had so far this month. And the first one was by 7,000 Bob Bullock Loop, 2/26/26. Method on Thursday. Method was overdosed by pills. Thursday, February 26th, 2026, at approximately 3:45 a.m. Police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 21-year-old female who attempted suicide by taking pills. Female was found inside a residence and transported to LMC for medical clearance under emergency detention. Female is an active National Guardsman supervisor notified, has no history of being a patient at Laurel Region. Next one was by 400 Sabah Loop, and this was on March 1st, 2026, overdosed by pills. On Sunday, March 1st, 2026, at approximately 2:38 p.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 22-year-old female who attempted suicide by taking pills. Female was found inside residence and transported to the hospital for medical clearance, and she did have history of being a patient at Laurel Region. Next one was on, by 2200 Los Cerezos Drive on March 2nd, 2026, overdose by pills. On Monday, March 2nd, 2026, at approximately 7:27 PM, police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 19-year-old female who attempted suicide by overdosing. Female stated she took approximately 55 pills. She was transported to the local hospital, and she does have history of being a patient at Puerto Region. This one was on March 3rd, 2026, 200 East Plum Street. On Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026, at approximately 3:10 PM, police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 39-year-old male who died by suicide by shooting himself in the head. Police arrived and transported the male to local hospital where he was pronounced dead, and he did have history of being a patient at Puerto Region. So I'll touch on that first suicide of the month. And that one, I will go ahead and give you, I have the after action report. And I'm going to read, I am gonna, not mention any names, just to protect pretty much the victims and the family members. On Tuesday, March 3rd, 2025, at approximately 3:09 PM, Laredo Police Department Communications received a call for a male subject who was possibly not breathing. LPD was requested by fire department after indication male subject, later identified as victim, had a gunshot wound to the head. Paramedics arrived on scene and later transported the victim to Laredo Medical Center, where he was later pronounced deceased by ER Dr. Jaime Pinero. Patrol officers also arrived and discovered that the victim was in possession of a handgun, which was present on scene. Patrol Sergeant Rene Arce subsequently requested capers and FIS. Caper Sergeant Luis Mata and Caper Sergeant Raimundo Garcia were notified and assigned Capers detectives to further investigate and respond. Lead Detective Cesar A. Esquivel met with paramedics who confirmed that the victim was found in possession of a handgun. The preliminary investigation indicated that victim had sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. Assisting detectives made it out to the crime scene to speak with victim's parents, identified as Black and Black. FIS arrived at both the hospital and scene for processing. The handgun was recovered along with a spent casing. In addition, detectives located and recovered the victim's cell phone. Further investigation revealed that the victim was a patient at Puerto Region Behavioral Health Center and had been expressing suicidal ideation for the last few days. It was later confirmed that earlier in the day, the victim's mother placed a welfare concern call for the victim, who she believed was having suicidal ideations after having not been seen since that last night. Upon interviewing the parents of the victim, it was learned that their son was diagnosed at a young age with a mental health disorder and struggled with drug addiction throughout his life. At several points in his life, victim had expressed suicidal ideations. Last night, parents stated that victim left and did not come home until shortly before the incident. Approximately 30 minutes after he arrived home, both parents heard the gunshot from another room. Parents subsequently called 911. According to the parents, they were not aware that victim owned a firearm. Contact was made with Laredo Police Department Mental Health Unit, who confirmed that victim was indeed a long-term patient who was diagnosed with mental health disorder. At this time, there is no evidence of foul play, as the incident is consistent with apparent suicide. However, victim body was recovered by Webb County ME investigator Esmeralda Lozano and transported to the Webb County morgue. An autopsy will be performed at a later time by Webb County Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Corinne Stern. The investigation will continue pending result of autopsy. That was the first suicide of the month. So we want to move to the next one. Next, this was an attempted suicide, 1100 Savannah Loop on March 4th, 2026, and method was by cutting. On Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, at approximately 1:04 AM, police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 40-year-old female who attempted suicide by stabbing herself in the chest. Female sustained no injuries and family members were able to remove the knife from the female. She was transported to local hospital on emergency detention, and she did not have history of being a patient at Golden Region. Next one was by the date, the address, it's 1300 Capesta Avenue, 3/4/2026. On Wednesday, March 4th, 2026, at approximately 11:23 p.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 41-year-old female who attempted suicide by overdosing on pills and cutting her wrist. Third-party friends requested a welfare after receiving suicidal messages from female. Police located her with her wrist, cut an empty bottle of pills. She was transported to local hospital under emergency detention, and she did not have history. I'm not sure on that one, if she had history or not. I don't know if we checked it. And I apologize because I didn't proofread it, but I had one of my mental unit officers help me with the report. 4300 Trade Center Boulevard. This one was a suicide. 4300 Trade Center Boulevard, and this method was by hanging. On Thursday, March 5th, 2026, at approximately 6:23 p.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 63-year-old male who died by suicide by hanging. Police arrived and located male subject hanging from a tree. He was pronounced dead on scene, and medical examiner was called on scene. He did not have history of being a patient of Golden Region. On that one, I do have the after action report, and I'm gonna read it for you all. On Thursday, March 5th, 2026, at approximately 6:39 p.m., Laredo Emergency Communication received a call of an attempted suicide by 4300 Trade Center Boulevard. The caller later identified as witness, a passerby found the unknown male subject hanging from a tree. Laredo paramedics arrived at the scene and confirmed a death on scene. Paramedics found an identification card on the decedent's pockets. The decedent was later identified as victim. Sergeant Zenobio Lopez arrived at the scene and requested capers and FIS. Capers Sergeant Luis Mata, along with detectives, took over the investigation. Sergeant Mata assigned Detective Francisco Castañeda as lead. Officers at the scene located a white passenger car that belonged to victim. FIS Tangoma took general photographs of the scene and the vehicle. Webb County Medical Examiner Investigator Esmeralda Lozano arrived to the location, conducted her investigation. The official time of death was 7:30 p.m. Ms. Lozano found a letter in the left pocket of victim while conducting her inspection of the decedent's body. Victim's cell phone was also recovered from his person. Lozano spoke to Webb County Medical Examiner Corinne Eastern, who decided to intake the decedent's body for an autopsy. Pursuant to the investigation, Detective Castañeda conducted interviews with witnesses at the scene. Witnesses stated they drove to a nearby store to buy a soft drink and saw victim trying to open a locked gate. The witnesses said that while driving back to their workplace, they saw victim hanging from the tree. Thereafter, witness stated that he called emergency services. There was another witness on scene, but claimed that he did not see the victim until the passerby approached him to notify him about the incident. The property owner, Blank, arrived at the scene and spoke to Detective Castañeda. Detective Castañeda learned that victim was one of the employees who had asked for some time off work due to medical complications. Video surveillance from the nearby location recorded the incident, and evidence confirmed that the victim hung himself. Detective Jesus Hinojosa made contact with the victim's next of kin, his son, and gave death notification. This case will remain open pending the results from the autopsy report. That's the last suicide that we had for this month. If you want to move to the next one, 6600 Adenia Loop. This was on March 8, 2026, by cutting. On Wednesday, March 8, 2026, at approximately 4:41 p.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 16-year-old female who attempted to commit suicide by cutting. Police arrived, recovered a black folding knife, and located female subject was transported to local hospital under emergency detention. And she did have history of being a patient, at Border Region. Next one was by 2400 Webster Street. On Sunday, March 12, 2026, at approximately 2:23 a.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located an 18-year-old female who attempted to commit suicide by cutting. Female broke a mirror and started cutting herself over recent breakup. Female subject, she was transported to local hospital on emergency detention, and she did have history of being a patient at Border Region. The next one is by 2300 Guadalupe Street. On March 16, 2026, at approximately 9:45 p.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 33-year-old female who attempted to commit suicide by jumping off a bridge. Police located female and ready to secure her. She was transported to a local hospital on emergency detention, and she did not have history of being a patient at Border Region. On this one, the watch commander on scene, the watch commander was kind enough to send me the after action report, and I wanted to read this one because this one's a feel good story. Normally I'm here providing bad news, but in this one, this was a good one, and I'll give props to the officer who responded. On March 16, 2026, at 9:54 hours, LPD officers responded to the intersection of Guadalupe Street and Chihuahua train overpass, following a report of a female attempting to jump from the bridge. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the female and began communicating with her in an effort to de-escalate the situation. Assisting officers secured the area by shutting down traffic and establishing a perimeter, while police negotiators were on the way to the scene. Officer Destiny Garay was able to move into close proximity with the female and continue speaking with her. When an opportunity presented itself, Officer Garay safely grabbed the female. With the assistance of other officers on scene, they were able to quickly secure her and bring her down from the bridge safely. Paramedics were standing by at the scene and subsequently transported the female to MMC for medical and mental health evaluation. Motive for her attempt to suicide is unknown at this time. Sergeant Lopez and officers are attempting to gather more information at the time. So this was a officers responding to a call and having the patience to approach this female in need. And I thought it was a good story to share with the committee that the officer did well, and also that we were able to get there in time to provide the help for this female. For the next one, sir. Santa Úrsula and Blair Street, on Sunday, March 22nd, 2026, at approximately 6:02 a.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 31-year-old female who attempted to commit suicide by cutting herself. Female stated she had stabbed herself on the wrist and did not want to live anymore. She was transported to a local hospital under emergency detention, and she did have history of being a patient at Border Region. Next one was by 5300 Marcea Avenue. On Sunday, March 24, 2026, at approximately 11:50 p.m., police responded to an attempted suicide call and located a 35-year-old male who attempted to commit suicide by cutting. Male was refusing to come out of the house. He was transported to a local hospital on emergency detention. When he came out of the residence, with 2 knives were recovered from the scene, and he did have history of being a patient at Border Region. This is the map of the bulk of calls that are coming in since January 1st to 2024. As we can see on Thursdays at about 10 a.m., that's about the time when we get most calls during the peak hours are I think it's between 9 and 2 p.m. And if you can see, the darker patches are on Wednesday, Thursday, and Fridays. This is the heat map. Apologies. And this is where we've had the attempted suicide call for this month. from February, 25th all the way up to March 24th. You can see they're all spread around, just so there's not one single place that geographical area that you can say, hey, it's because of a certain place. Yeah, no, they're everywhere. Next one. Any questions? This is my staff. My name is Sergeant Liberto Avalos. I have Officer Elisa Martinez, Officer Emerson Barbosa, Officer Gilberto Ramirez, Officer Juan Tovar, and Officer Ismael Castillo. And it's open for any questions.
Committee members, any questions, comments? So a total attended of how many, 9?
13 for this month, Doctor, and we had 2 suicides, 2 actual death by suicide. And I asked to print out or to get the Excel spreadsheet. So I've been this is something else that I created since 2024. If you scroll up, I know this is a question that I get. People ask me, what are the suicides that are we keeping tabs? What are the dates? What are the age? What's the gender and the method? So I decided to create this Excel spreadsheet so that in case, I know some people have asked for stats because a lot of the times they ask it for grant purposes, or I know for training. Frank called me earlier this week. I had Dr. Galvan Rodriguez, who's going to be presenting at this year's Child Advocacy Conference at TAMU next week. He asked me for this information also, so I think it's very important, and I talked to Dr. Basan that we keep this information, keep on tracking it for future references.
Thank you for starting this database, and I do believe I have some numbers from 22 and 21 paper copies of those stats, so I'll forward those to you. Any questions on these numbers or stats?
Yes, I'm Frank Sanchez from Board Region, and I'm with the Children's Department. So yesterday I had a training provided a training for ASK about suicide to save a life for UISD, at the UISD board meeting, room. And there was their crisis response team was there. So I know, when we provide trainings, they look at stats. We get the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention stats for the United States, death by suicide. And then we get the Texas numbers, right? So, and when we're able to provide local numbers to the community, this is when they realize that this is a public health concern. And I reminded them that if we were to reduce suicide rates, and I know I've repeated myself plenty of times, in 2 states, Texas and California, our national numbers would be reduced drastically. At the national level, 55% of death are by the use of a weapon, a gun. In Texas, it's 66%. Texas, we love our guns, but like we told them in the audience, it's okay to have them, but make sure we know how to keep the people safe with gun laws, with a picture in it of a loved one or a pet, because time and distance will allow that individual that is contemplating to die by suicide, maybe that time to reflect and say, you know what, not today. Okay, so I really appreciate, I know I reached out to Dr. Basan and I said, let me get a hold of Eddie. And I know typically I get a hold of Erica, and I have the numbers from 2018. And what was startling to me wasn't from 2018 to all this up to 2024, the number of deaths for males has been historically almost 99%, right? But 2024, I saw that 7 women took their lives and 11 men. And that to me, I was taken aback by that, because it's more males die by suicide based on the lethal men, the method that, they use, and more women attempt at a higher rate, but because of the method, of course, thank God they don't die by suicide. So I was really alarmed by that, and unfortunately, after the pandemic, historically now, more Hispanic females are attempting at a higher rate. And I'm talking about adolescents. Okay, so because that's my field of expertise at this point in time. But we do get this information from Dr. Frank Campbell, we get it from the state, but when we get this information locally, it really opens up the eyes of the individuals that were at this training yesterday that I provided with Shadi Guillen, who's our MCOT interim supervisor on the adult side. And they were like, they couldn't believe it. And what is it they could do? I said, so we'll spread the word, but I did tell them about the successes. You know, it was 3 months, right, Eddie? If I'm not mistaken, that we have 0 suicides. Why? Because their effort is there to promote awareness and become a suicide prevention advocate to reduce the number of death by suicide, because one death by suicide is one death too many. And I know postvention is prevention, but we want to have 0 suicides, you know, so, you know, I really appreciate what everybody is doing.
Thank you, Frank. Before we continue this discussion, I just want to take a moment to pause and, you know, this is a part of this meeting that I really don't like, and it has to, it hits me like a brick, wall of bricks, so I want to just take a moment and moment of silence for everybody who lost suicide. Thank you, everyone. So getting back to what Frank just mentioned, one life lost is too many. And I really believe that we're gonna come to a day when we're gonna be very happy, those numbers are very low. But between now and then, I think it's gonna take all of us to be innovative in the projects that we develop, or ideas, or outreach, or advocacy. So I invite everybody around the table, put on your thinking hat. Develop a way that you can become better at what you're already doing, because it will make a difference. And with that being said, I know that Sergeant Avalos and I have been in communication. Yes, Sergeant.
I'm sorry, no, go ahead, I'll say that.
No, go ahead.
This number could have easily been, 3 guys. We had one of our retired, police officers there, their son, died of suicide. I think it was not included because it is still in Gordon County, but it was at our local ranch. So this one really hit us really hard, because we know this officer, he's a good friend of mine, good supervisor, and that one was really sad. So that could have been, number 6 for us instead of 5, if you would have decided to die by suicide here at home and did it at the ranch.
Thank you, Sergeant. So as I was saying, I don't wanna count any more lives lost. I wanna count how many ways do we advocate for suicide prevention? How many ways, how many projects can we develop to extend what we're already doing? And trying to figure out what else can we do, because everybody's doing good, but we can do great. I've been in conversations with Sergeant Avalos, and what we're going to do through the Area Health Education Center is do some trainings, do seminars, one with the school district, with all of the law enforcement, from the school districts to college to university, the city, the sheriff's office, the constables, to bring information to them so that they can be advocates in their areas with the population that they serve. And that's gonna be one avenue. And of course, we welcome ideas, we welcome you all to join us. And so right now, we're in the process of developing that. The other thing that we spoke about lengthy, Sergeant, the other evening, was about how can we figure out what the youth, and when I say youth, those that are about to graduate from high school, those enrolled in college or university, What is it that they need? Do they feel they need to better cope with their stress at school, with grades, with classes, with the peer pressure? We don't know. And so one of the things that we're going to do, we're gonna do a small study to find that out. Why is that important? Because we wanna hear it from them. What can we help you with? Because we could sit here and come up with bright ideas, but maybe that's not what they need. Maybe that's not what they're looking for. Maybe that's not what's missing in their life. And so we hope to be able to do this, a short study that'll give us some direction where to go from or where to start. And again, we will bring that information to you. Yes, Maxine?
Yeah, for that, for like the college kids, Nopal and Libro Justice have been doing really good work in the community, and like they're really good young adults to reach out to, because they can get people to listen.
Very good, thank you. And I'll probably give you a call later on, Maxine.
Okay.
And again, any of you that have ideas or have access to groups of youth, we welcome that because we want to hear from them. And so once all the logistics are in place, I'll send an email out to everybody. Again, this is under the umbrella of the Area Health Education Center. And why is this? Because one, our resources with the committee are limited. Two, I know that there's several channels that we have to go through, but we need expedited information so that we can act accordingly. And so Frank, I know that I'll be reaching out to you as well.
Yeah, and I'll be forwarding you what Spark is doing in the small East Texas place. They have that same type of coalition that is from the community, that they train first responders. They have a name for all the many trainings that they do. And what they do with that is once they train them, it's like, okay, you have this information, you know how it is that your officers want to work just with those that are part of PD, those that are part of first responders, fire department and what have you. So they're doing that in their community. And I'm going to share that, I'll copy you someone, because you're using AI as a 988 song that they put out. So I'm going to share that with you since you are very good at technology, okay? So that way y'all can see what can be implemented and used for our community.
Thank you.
And that's what it's all about, like Dr. Basan said, sharing the knowledge to keeping people safe is what's gonna reduce the numbers. And that's what the coalitions are supposed to be doing, and that's what y'all are doing right now.
Thank you for your comments, Frank. Anyone else? So there's more to come on those projects. Next is the City of Laredo Public Health Report.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Akin Montes, Community Health Administrator here at the Laredo Public Health Department. And we have for those of us that are new, we're visiting for the first time. Just for some context, we have 988 call center data, which is provided by Integral Care on a volunteer basis. And we are pending calls for the month of February and March. But a key takeaway, and I want to highlight to the committee, is an increase of 82.1% of answered calls and 74.2% increase from last year's generate calls to this year's. So that shows an increase in awareness of the 988 resource and subsequent follow through. I'm going to bring to your attention and share that SAMHSA leadership was engaged in Washington for our delegation from our City of Laredo team, and they met with their leadership and they expressed strong interest in supporting local initiatives and scaling best practices. I'm bringing a QR code for your quick reference. There are several funding opportunities that are available for the community, and that some of them, as government, local government, we might not be able to participate in. But I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there are funding opportunities that are underway. And as a result, I wanted to share with the committee that we are embarking on this effort, which is due on April 20th, and it's implementing zero suicide in health systems, of which we hope to acquire, and it's up to $400,000 per year funding project period up to 5 years with a cap at $2 million. And the public health impact, it's in an effort to directly address suicide as critical public health concern. It advances clinical care delivery beyond awareness or outreach, and strengthens screening, treatment, follow-up protocols, and supports evidence-based behavioral health interventions, and builds long-term system capacity and product improvement infrastructure. I went ahead and provided the QR code for mental health professionals to reference it, and hope that once we deploy and embark on this grant, we can launch on our unified effort right now, spring. And this recently we had the community mental health team transfer over to the community health division. And these are just some of their updates that they provided as a follow-up to last committee's meeting. Yeah, they did report an increase in enrollment in counseling services as they shared with the committee, and then also their outreach efforts at local news stations. And want to highlight some upcoming initiatives. In April, we have the Stress Awareness Month, Paint Your Stress Away. And for May, we have Mental Health Awareness Month, event planning stages, and mobile unit deployment, which will be in there around April 9th. There is talks that the mobile health unit is transferred over to the community health division. And we are exploring to take it to our outreach and 98 outreach, just to maybe in the future, we can badge it or to bring more awareness. And I just want to share also that Vicente Jimenez is our Juntos program contact, and you're welcome to take a picture. And she was our new supervisor about 2 weeks ago on the job. She is an employee, existing employee for the health department. She migrated over to this, and you can reach out to her collaborations and enhancements of your efforts. And we're recently, this is something that happened today, as a matter of fact, an idea from Ms. Cindy Jimenez is to deploy through the public library system, join the public health ecosystem. And we're using that infrastructure throughout the city to promote the 98 resource, and we're gonna provide, we're requesting resources to share at our public health library branches and our public health department. I wanted to provide an update that the URL is online, and we did away with the very lengthy URL, so we can facilitate our outreach, right, and maybe in print materials, and that is online. Well, that QR code leads directly to the website.
Excellent.
Yes. Can you go back to the previous slide, sir? The one for the library. Thank you.
While we're on the website, first of all, I just want to say thank you for all your work, not just on the website, but getting the statistics for the 98 calls. Because I saw all those back and forth emails and communication over months. So thank you for not giving up and for bringing that information to us every month. Thank you so much. The website, we are under the City of Laredo umbrella, and the QR code that we just saw takes us directly to that area where you can see information about Suicide Prevention Committee. I know that Mr. Rankin and I were listening the other day about maybe is there a way that we can, this is a question for the IT people, can we upload messages that we have created about awareness? Like a
Messages.
video?
Oh, yes, media should be technically possible.
Okay, because we have several, because last time that we met, we talked about us individuals doing little short segments. And of course, Maria got to the office and wanted everybody to do a short message. So we have several clips. I'm not saying that we're gonna use these, but all of us can do that. And then we can upload them, maybe once a month or twice a month, or however the committee or the IT department thinks we should do. So when people click on that, they can see, oh, that's, Earl, look, I know Earl is saying this about suicide, and these are the resources, so that people can see familiar faces, and maybe they wanna share with others. Sure. And then you had another.
Yeah, we just wanna update, the police officers' phone numbers. It's outdated from the fact sheet, so as long as we get a new fact sheet to you, if you could upload that. And yeah, if we could load the PSAs that we have a couple that we did with KGNS, just to get more content. And if anybody else has anything that they would like to see on that website, to drive more eyes to that website. That's not the right QR code, that's the one for the.
For the state?
Yeah.
Is the one for zero suicide EDC?
Yeah, that was for the 0. Yeah, so he's gotta update that. And then you had a question about the Laredo libraries?
Oh, no, I went to the previous, where it said Laredo, the city, Laredo libraries. Yeah, that one, I already took a picture of that.
Okay.
Hopefully.
And that's great. If we, once again, get more eyes on 988, we have posters at the library. But if we need more supplies, I have supplies. If we need magnets, and they're easy to get and they're free.
And the banners that we have, that just say 988 suicide and crisis lifeline, that have nobody's logo, nobody, and we did that for reason many years ago. Because we didn't want to label any one particular agency, because we want those to be forever and ever and ever. And anybody can have those and use the message clear. So I'll send you some graphics on that as well.
Sure, I wanted to share that, maybe you would help to upload, videos on YouTube. Simply, so when we share the videos, it won't be like resource intensive and it's easier to share. And on the website, it is possible to include the link.
Okay, well, thank you for
Thanks, okay. Good job.
accommodating. Did you have something else, Mr. Edwin? No? Oh, the website, I think I covered the things.
That was covered on the website. I saw on the AHEC, on your Facebook page, that you have a link, you have a bit connection to the City of Laredo website.
Yes.
On the City of Laredo website, our website is still buried about 3 or 4 levels. It's under government, it's about 3 levels down, and under services, it's about 4 levels down. So that's why we're trying to find better places for it, because trying to find it through the city website is not efficient.
Easy access.
Right.
And then Mr. Earl had a question about Facebook.
I know that, we're working with, Hyman with the DAC, creating a Facebook page and having the health department, roll it. That would be something that would be very helpful for us, so people that think 98 services in the Laredo, area will be able to, find the resources real quicker, I would think, and that would also help us, post any updates or any events that are going on as well in our community. So when you put there any or any information like events that are going on in the month of October or September, they're aware that it'll be posted there, like how the health department has their Facebook, and you put like any special event, it'll come up there as well.
Like, for example, this Friday, we're having a rally that could be there since we scheduled it, right? For anybody that's having anything related to suicide prevention, or the mud run, that's suicide prevention event also. So we can maybe get a report next month. Thank you so much. With that being said, I think, again, thank you to the staff at the Public Health Department for everything that you do. And we look forward to greater things that will be coming down in support of suicide prevention. Under the suicide loss team and trainings, I know that Laura sometimes has trainings, so we'll get those out to people. We will continue to share any trainings for suicide prevention, mental health first aid, and ask for anything, Frank, that I know you're very good about sharing that with us. So then we send it to the committee, because training is, most of the time it's free. We just have to make the time. I was in communication with Tammy. She's trying to put together a training for survivors of suicide, support systems. And I told her, of course, our community is interested. And I'm not gonna say no to anything that is free for us. So more details on that. The 988 You're Not Alone awareness campaign. I did want to make an observation in looking at the statistics recently. I noticed that following a month where we have a lot of activity to create awareness about either mental health or suicide prevention, that's when we have 0 suicides the following month. Isn't that interesting? So why can't we do advocacy throughout the year? I mean, the numbers are there to prove that everybody's work together gives us the results we want. And, you know, I've always said suicide prevention projects and activities should be done all year long. I know it's hard because we have so much, but we could always rotate, you know, we could rotate a week. For example, a week, West Care will come up with things. The next week, the public health, the next week, area health education center. And we don't all have to do it all at one time. So think about it. I'm gonna table that for next month. Your homework will be to come up with some things. And all our guests around the table, I want you to participate. I want Laredo College to participate. Harmony, UISD, LISD, everybody, needs to be part of this to make it work. Because it's important. So, for the month of May, that's Mental Health Awareness Month. The last time that we met, I said that I wanted us to recommit to our efforts. We don't have to wait until May, we can recommit sooner. You can start sooner than that. But May the 6th, we had mentioned 10 a.m. to gather at the Bartlett Park, the Jovita Hidar Park. But 10 a.m. will not be a good time. We need to do it at noon because we want to allow people that are at lunch, Frank, to join us and come and have food with
I
us.
love the morning time, I'm sorry,
I do too,
but I know people can't.
But- maybe we want, maybe more people that can only get away during their lunch hour wanna come and learn. And so, May the 6th at noon, at the Jovita Hidar, we will recommit ourselves like we did in past years. We're inviting people to have a booth or a table, so it can be like a lunch health fair, lunch mental health fair, or whatever you wanna call it, I don't know. But mark the calendar, more details to come.
Lunch and learn. A lunch and learn.
So who's gonna provide the lunch?
Wrong baggage.
What original provide the lunch, yes.
Lowell Ridge will be there for us, I'm sure. I'm calling you out, no pressure.
Well, they brought treats for us tonight, so
Oh,
thank you
yeah.
for that. So more details to come, but if you do know of the sponsor that wants to provide some snacks for us, that would be great. Something to drink, maybe chips, a hot dog, whatever it is, sandwiches, prepackaged. We can make it a community event. And that's what I have. Do remember that Friday we have the 9/8 rally, and I just wanna acknowledge Sergeant Avalos for the last rally that we had last month. We had tremendous support from city leadership, thank you, and that was all you. And your team, of course, we had the mayor, we had different chiefs out there, council members, and department heads, that was great, and should be like that, right? So again, we can all take turns. You took care of that last month, so we'll volunteer to take care of it for this month, you know. We need to share in responsibilities, inviting people, maybe this time around, we wanna invite the leadership from the school systems, or maybe the leadership from the mental health, agencies. So be creative, it's not just a one person taking all the extra effort that is needed to make it happen. Okay, any questions or comments on the 9/8? I know, Maxine, when you travel, you take the message with you, so thank you for that.
Yes, and I do have one event coming up. I already brought it up to the veterans, and I know you signed the resolution with Roque Vela. I looked it up and I saw it in 2021. You helped
Yes.
sign the resolution for them. So this is the Texas tour stop. They're going all over the country talking about supported veterans, bringing their stories to us. I was able to go to El Paso and cross the border into Juarez to go to the bunker to talk to some of these veterans. There was one veteran that I did get to meet. He was actually dropped off in Laredo and had to find his way back to Juarez. So they have horrible stories. Some of them died in exile, only to then have their citizenship given to their family. And they died with preventable causes. So the tour is coming to Laredo. They are gonna stop here, March 31st. And there's a QR code. It'll be at Tammy U from 5 to 9. It'll be the documentary, Bring Them Home, with the panel discussion from the director. And we're trying to get Manny here. He's one of the Valenzuela brothers. He has an RV and he goes around the country talking about his and his brother's stories. His brother is still in exile, but Manny was repatriated, which means that he was deported and then they brought him back. So he is here, he's able to come, so we're trying to get him here. But it'll be March 31st and have a QR code if y'all want to register.
Yes, can you pass it around or did you have flowers?
No, I only brought
Just pass it around so people can have it. Okay, can I see what we?
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna open it up for any other announcements of efforts that are happening to create awareness for suicide prevention. You have anything to report on that? Any events?
Yes, so, good evening, my name is Ryan Genova. There's an event happening this weekend, the Laredo Much Visit 2.0, down in 30th for Health, and this is just, the movement for 988, You're Not Alone. So we're trying to get the community together. This is totally different to what other, activities that are similar to a much, I don't wanna say race, it's challenge, because there is no first, second, third place, there's no teams, the community is a team. We want to bring the community together to let people know that they're not alone. Regardless if you're with one person or by yourself, you're all gonna have a community, a team of 24 that is going to help you through the obstacles. Just like in life, when you're faced with an obstacle, facing it alone, it's hard. When you have a support system, it's much easier. Having that love, support from a family, friend, or just the community itself, it's much easier to go through. So we want to bring the community together, let them know that they're not alone. We're gonna have local organizations, mental health and wellness, and music and all that good stuff. So make sure it's gonna be at Povita Idad Park, March 28th, this Saturday at 8. The proclamation is gonna be at 7:45. It's gonna be a proclamation by the mayor.
Excellent, thank you. And if you need any information on that, feel free to go to the Facebook page or call us or we'll be more than happy to share that with you. That Maria will send that flyer.
Dr. Gonzalez, just
Yes.
wanted to work in the mental health, mental rehabilitation outreach unit in moving there. I'm gonna try and convince some of my guys to participate.
I thought you were.
There is no, as long as we get a participation medal, I think it'd be great, but I'm gonna try and go through them myself.
And it's good that you mentioned that, and I just wanna highlight that. You said participation medal. We don't give medals. This is a commitment. This is what we're giving, the signal. And this signal represents that you're gonna be the lifeline for someone. So if someone sees you wearing this, it means that you are safe to approach, to talk to, if I'm having a hard day, I can approach you, I can talk to you, and you be that lifeline. You're encouraging people here in our community to get together, to let them know that you're not alone. So a participation medal, no, but a commitment, this will be issued, yes.
We will still have a
You
booth.
have to
I
participate.
will have a booth, but I already told my guys that I was gonna try and participate also.
Yes, Mr. Sergeant Castillo or,
From, yes, sir, no, Lieutenant Castillo from
Lieutenant
from our
Castillo,
CRA
yeah, Jonathan.
division. Yes.
yes, he's gonna be there and he said that the SWAT guys are gonna participate in the battle zone too,
All
so.
those guys work out every day.
Yeah. So there's 2 courses, the battle zone is, we're taking a step to be the lifeline. And then we have the 17 Reasons Challenge course, and that is much deeper commitment that you're gonna make those difficult calls, check up on people. And, that's going to be, the veteran organizations are gonna have booths there. And we're gonna invite the community and encourage them to donate for their cause because they do a lot in our community as well. So it's not whatever you wanna give, and you're gonna be able to challenge one of the awareness warriors, which will run, and it's a one-on-one. We did it today, it took probably like 1 minute and 30 seconds, and that was like light speed, so it's doable, it's fun, and it's gonna have people talking about it and connecting with each other.
So I hope to see many of you there
But
this Saturday.
We if you take anything, just take this. Depression hates a moving target. Depression feeds on isolation, right? And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to disrupt isolation before it escalates to the crisis. So being that, how do we do that? Through movement, connection, and that's what we need. We need to take people out of that isolation, even if they're not going to participate. They could go spectate, meet people, just be with community that really cares. So that's what our mission is, and hopefully that's what the community will get and feel that day.
Thank you, Randy. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, I wanna talk about the mental health symposium that's coming up.
Yes, I left some flyers in the tables. We are going to have our 19th annual mental health and substance abuse awareness symposium on Friday, May the 1st, 2026, from 9 in the morning to 5 p.m. It's going to be in the IBC Annex, and registration is free for nurses or social workers or LPC. For listening use, we will charge you $50.
Thank you, Maria. Can I give the flyers on the table? If you have any questions, you're welcome to call us. Earl, I think you have an announcement to make about
For Western?
awareness month or something.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, I touched base with Dr. Gonzalez for any, events and awareness. Since April is coming up, we wanna reach out to all the, agencies here to voice out around your, I guess, your emails or create a little flyer talking about, since April is, Alcohol Awareness Month, Underage Drinking Month, and Sports Awareness Month, it's good to relay the message so we can spread awareness and let them know what's going on, and that they're not alone. Like if you're going through a crisis or you need someone in need, they know who they can reach out. This is something that Westcor is planning to do and continue doing and spreading awareness through our campuses as how we do Pláticas every Friday at Step Academy and at United South in the 9th grade campus. So hopefully, all the agencies here could do that and continue spreading awareness because each month there's something going on.
Thank you,
This
Earl.
one, also you, bro?
No, that right there is Pathway to Care. That is represented by the Drug and Alcohol Commission partnering up with Laredo Public Health and spreading awareness to the community in 78040 and setting up just what is it?
That'll be Friday morning.
Yeah, Friday morning, from 10 to 12, if I'm not mistaken, and helping spreading awareness to the community, especially the elderly people that are there in Jarvis Plaza. I know the one spearheading this is Mrs. Meralda Rendon. She's a freelancer, as well as Adriana Morales from the Laredo Public Health.
And it's a wonderful event because the targeted population are the homeless or the people that really need. And they don't wanna go to Vacant House, they don't wanna go to the other agencies. This is a population that sometimes falls between the cracks. You will find veterans there, you will find people that once upon a time they had everything under the sun, and for whatever reason, life happens, right? We've been part of this, and it's a beautiful opportunity for us to be part of it. So thank you, Earl. And who has this one?
You said, well, we're promoting, Take Back Field Day, April 25th, which also helps in the suicide part. If you look at it, we're trying to give parents to dispose of their unused medications or expired medications. Being Hispanic, it's real easy to say, well, I'm gonna keep it just in case for someone else in the family. No, we should not be sharing our medications, so we can't do that. So we're trying to change that, and again, disposal. So we have, we're gonna have them Take Back April 25th from 10 to 2 at our office.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Anybody else have anything else to report, Frank?
I got it, just I'm trying to get as much as information from you all, and I will send you an email and market. Zero suicide, impacts that has, benefited our community. I need to send a 2-sentence, email back to Samantha, for Health and Human Services. But not only that, once again, they're asking us, what has Zero Suicide for your community, local coalition done to impact suicide prevention. So I want to highlight everything that everybody's doing and send it to Lisa Sullivan. So hopefully that can be some of those awards and recognition that comes to Laredo as a community once again. So I know we were able to garner that when you had the kickoff and everybody participated. So Laredo was recognized at the symposium. The symposium is gonna be in New Braunfels this coming August at the convention center, the Texas Symposium on Suicide Prevention. So we wanna make sure that Laredo is recognized again with all the efforts that are taking place here. So
So
that
send
is,
us the email.
that is my job, to be able to highlight what you all are doing and also sending, that's the reason I was asking Eddie, was it 2 months, was it 3 months? I wanna make sure that I put the right information in there. Randy, with what you've been doing for veterans as well, and Maxine, I need that info, so, I'll send you all an email and include you in there, so you can provide me a synopsis of what's happening, and I can combine it and send it to them.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you for being our leader and for taking that flag with you to Austin and beyond. Everybody needs to do their part and also brag about the great things we're doing, because if we don't talk about it, people are not gonna hear about it. I talk about all of you whenever I go out of town and tell them how great you are. And because of your efforts, that people in our community now know what 988 is, and we can use it. Even us, we can use it, okay? I did a lecture not too long ago at UT, actually about 2 weeks ago, maybe. It's close to 100 nursing students about to graduate. And I asked them, by a show of hands, how many of you know what 988 is? There was 3 people in the audience. This is San Antonio. So, anyway, so then I talked to a couple of them that approached me afterwards. They wanted to know what it was and how do we get a hold of it. And I took some buttons out of my purse and I gave it to them and told them free resources, you know, call this number, email this person, they will send you what you need. So whenever you have a chance, share that. And I know you do, but I want to tell you that Laredo is way ahead of other communities as far as awareness goes. We need to continue. Anybody else has anything else?
And
Or anybody leave
I'm
and take a
I'm
picture?
sorry, I forgot to mention, I'll be at LIC this coming week, no, in April 15th, also presenting on suicide prevention for some of the parents and some of the educators there.
Excellent.
I was contacted by Assistant Athletic Director, and she said, can you put something together for this meeting that we have? I said, sure, we will, you know, I'll do that. So, but at every place that I go to, thank you for the 988 stuff that I got from you. And when I gather that, I just share it with them. And then when the bracelets were sent to me, and they're loving it, they're taking it, and anything that the city's been using as well. I'm connecting everybody. It's everybody's job.
Yes.
So it's a public health concern and it's a community effort. So I'm sharing that with them as well.
Thank you, Frank. I want to take a group picture before anybody leaves. So does anybody else have anything else to, for joining us? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, Jesus Lopez, CMS Operations, and I'll be at the one too, but.
I was gonna ask you. Tell the chief that we wanted to.
It'll be like we have.
Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Okay, all those in favor say aye. Whoever wants to say long or say no. Meeting is adjourned.